our videos entertaining and
informative.
That's right, correct.
Yes, thank you for telling me my lines. I forgot them.
Don't forget, if by the end of the video we get 20 likes, Yossi is doing a somersault.
Ooh, I want to do a somersault. Yeah, 20.
That's not too much to ask for.
Okay, let us get on with the Parsha. What is this week's name?
Yitro.
What?
Yitro.
Yisro.
Yitro. I'm Sephardic, so are you.
So let's see what Chabad.org says. Oh, it's Yitro. Man. Chabad.org should be Sephardic.org.
You lost that one, man.
I'm just kidding. Okay, let's talk about the Parsha. So, what happens in Parshas Yisro? So, Yisro is Moshe's father-in-law. He heard of the great miracles that Hashem did for the Jewish people. He comes to Midian. He comes from Midian to the camp of the Jewish people, and he brings Moshe's wife and his two sons because Moshe sent them back for a little bit.
Correct.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And Yisro advises Moshe to appoint judges so that he doesn't have to deal with that. He doesn't have to stand all day. It's not respectful to him. So the Jews don't have to stand online all day. It's not respectful to them. And now they get to Har Sinai, and they're told, Hashem tells them that they were chosen to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. That's what we are, guys. So we need to play that part. And the people respond by claiming what Hashem says we will do, right? And later on they would say, Nasa v'nishma, right? We will do, and then we will hear. First, they said we accept God's commandments blindly.
With full trust.
Yes, exactly, full trust. On the 6th day of the 3rd month, so Vav Sivan, 7 weeks after they left Mitzrayim, they all stood by Har Sinai for Matan Torah, for the giving of the Torah. Hashem came down to the mountain while there was thunder, lightning, and billows of smoke, and a blast of the shofar. And Moshe goes up to Har Sinai. Hashem gives the 10 commandments, the Seres HaDibros, and tells the Jews to believe in Hashem, not to worship idols, not to take Hashem's name in vain, to keep the Shabbos, to honor the parents, not to murder, not to commit adultery, not to steal, not to bear false witness, and not to covet, not to be jealous, not to desire another's property. The people cry out to Moshe that the revelation is too intense for them to bear, and they beg Moshe to receive the Torah from Hashem, and he should give it over to them. And that's the Parsha in
a nutshell.
Okay.
Correct.
Now I have to find where we are. Okay. So, let us just make a double check. Make sure that we're live. Yep, we are live. Baruch Hashem.
How's my voice coming in?
Your voice? I don't know.
Can't you check? How's my voice coming in?
Oh, you're saying this? Can they hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like you can. Talk.
Talk. Hi. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Very good.
So we'll get right into it.
Yes, let's get right into the Parsha.
So the question is, one of the questions that I have encountered in Zera Shimshon, it says, how come Yitro is the only one that basically did tshuva after we came out of Mitzrayim? Everything was done already. All the miracles have revealed themselves. It was undeniable that there's one true God, and everything that has happened right when we came out of Mitzrayim. Now we have a rule, and the rule is at the time when the Jews are at the top, meaning we are at the top.
Right.
At the time of David HaMelech, at the time of Shlomo HaMelech, there were no converts. We never accepted any converts. We never accepted anybody into the side. Why was Yitro an exception?
Well, what's the reason for that?
The reason for it is because how do we know you're genuinely doing this out of true faith, or you're doing this because it's profitable, or it's fashionable, or
Right.
it's the most popular thing to do at that time? So
yeah, that reminds me actually of because last year we discussed this for a little bit. And so I just wanted to say, go watch last year's video because there's a lot of stuff that is over there that you will not hear this time around, because we already covered it. So
Correct.
yeah, at the end, right now, it's not going to be up here because we're live, but once it's over, whoever's watching this, I will be, God willing, placing the on the top of the
Link.
screen over there, a little card just around one of these moments to for you to enjoy.
Cool.
Yes. Okay, so now that I interrupted you,
What was I up to? Oh yeah. So Yitro.
So why do we accept Yisro?
Why is he an exception?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it a little bit too, but yeah.
So he's an exception mainly because he was a public figure that everybody was looking to him to see whether he was going to say this is magic or he was going to say no, this is one true God. And as soon as Yitro saw what happened with the sea opening up and swallowing up all the Egyptians, he knew that it was for sure the hand of God, because it showed that it was midah keneged midah. Just like the Egyptians were killing Jewish babies, or trying to kill Jewish babies in the Nile, the same way the water basically swallowed them up. So it was proof that it was God's hand. It wasn't magic or any other type of interferences. So that is why, because he's a public figure and because he's genuinely switched over, because you tried everything else. As we know, Yitro tried every single avodah zarah there is, and he came to a conclusion that this is one true God, and everything that has happened was God's hand.
Right.
So that was the reason on why he was accepted. He didn't play a political part where he said, hey, you know what? My son-in-law, by the way, is a huge figure. So he didn't try to use his reputation.
Right. And yeah, I actually want to mention that's a good point, because it seems like, oh, Yisro just came, after everything was great, after wow, they have the coolest God. Okay, let's bandwagon right now, right? But that's not what was happening at all.
Just a quick reminder. Also, it was Yitro who saved Moshe Rabbeinu's life more than once.
Yes, or at least advocated for. Yes, that's true.
Well, for the very first time was when he said, "Let's test the baby." You remember when Moshe
So
Rabbeinu?
Yisro wasn't there then. It was
Yitro was there.
Yitro was there at when it came to deciding what to do with the Jewish babies.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Because I think
I'm talking about when Moshe Rabbeinu was a baby in the palace. The Moshe Rabbeinu was raised on the ankle, on the knees of the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, the baby took the crown, and his magicians, Balaam was one of them, said, hey, this is the baby that we were looking for. This is the baby that's going to destroy your crown. And so they had to test the baby. They put burning coals, and they put a piece of, I think it was either the crown or gold coins, to see whether the baby was going to go for the gold coins or the coals.
Right.
And Moshe Rabbeinu took the coals, because the angel made him take the coals and put it in his mouth.
Right.
So Yitro was the one who said, let's test him. Let's not put him to death. Which is why afterwards he ran away that night, because he basically went against a bigger magician who's Balaam, who was going to kill him for it.
That's interesting. I always thought that there was a meeting between three advisors, and that Yitro said, don't kill the Jewish boys, and he had to run away. I didn't know that it was
the way I learned the whole story. I learned it as if, or that's how I imagined it when we were talking about it. It's a palace. A king, it's not always that they're super busy with whatever they're doing. There's some alone time, some personal time.
Right.
And he's playing with he thinks that that's his nephew. Well, not nephew, grandson.
Yeah.
So he's playing with his grandson, and this happens. And one of the magicians in the palace, while they saw this, they tell him, "Hey, this is it." And so, because Yitro went against Balaam, he knew that his days are numbered. So that's why he had to escape for his life.
It's possible. I've been.
And Yonah, was it Yonah? Who was the third one?
Eov.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Why do I always mix him up with Yonah?
You're learning a lot. You have a lot of.
Thanks. You give me way too much credit. But Eov, because he stayed quiet, he gets punished for it.
Yeah. He had a lot of suffering going on in his life.
So Yitro saved his life when Moshe Rabbeinu was just a baby.
Right.
He was just a couple of months old.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was the first time he saved his life. Second time he saved his life when he threw him in a dungeon. He says, "I don't want no beef with Egyptians. You're a fugitive, as far as I know. You ran away from there."
Yeah. Well, there's actually a whole story. He kept him in a pit for years.
For 10 years.
Yeah, but he didn't save his life. Tzipora saved his life.
But he saved his life because he was supposed to technically put him to death. Anybody housing a fugitive is technically housing
traitor.
Is a traitor. So he put his life in danger by doing so.
Right.
But he didn't decide to kill him. He decided to throw him in a pit to see whether he was a man of God or not.
Right. Wow. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I guess they're saying like he owed him a Parsha Tov.
Yeah.
Right. And to add on to that, about what you said earlier, that Yisro really meant it. So the Me'am Loez says that first pasuk in the Parsha says Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard what happened, all the miracles that happened, and then in pasuk Vav, the sixth pasuk of our Parsha, he tells Moshe, he says, "Moshe, come to me. I'm here with your wife and kids." So Yisro, why did Yisro tell Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the leader of the Jewish people, told him to come out to him? What kind of thing is that? Ask him, let me in. Right? Was he looking for honor? Like, no, you come to me, I don't come to you. Like, it's strange.
Maybe he was afraid. Maybe he wasn't sure he would be accepted.
So he says over here that actually the reason was L'Shem Shamayim.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted people to hear about this and realize that, to see that Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people love Gerim. They don't treat outsiders who join Jewish people differently, and they actually show them extra love. And they show them a lot of show them a lot of affection. Yeah, and also so that his family, because he had family who were still non-observant, who did not serve Hashem, and he wanted his family to see the honor that he's getting, and they should also want to come. Me'am Loez says that even though it's possible that this will cause people to convert not for the right reasons, but he said mitoch shelo lishma b'lishma, that even if a person will start off doing things not for the right reason, but eventually they will come to do it for the right reasons. Which is, now that's a very important tenet in Judaism, which is like, don't worry about your motives. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Right? In Pirkei Avos it says, "Bitoch shelo lishma b'lishma." Always do. Mm-hmm. Even when you're doing things for the wrong reason, you're going to end up doing the right thing for the right reason as well. Not just even if you started off for the wrong reason.
This is the reason why when we put on tefillin, we put on the hand first, and then the head. But we take off the head first, and then the hand. Why? Mm-hmm. Because a Jew should always do, and you do with your hand. So before you think, before you understand what you're doing, why you're doing, you gotta do. Eventually you'll understand. It will come to you.
I love that. It's so cool. I don't want to assume, but maybe you could say, it doesn't say this in any Sfarim, or not that I know of. Maybe that's why also you put it on your left hand. One of the reasons, because someone would think only do it when you're really good at it, or when you're ready. Mm-hmm. But the left hand is the weaker hand, so put on your weaker hand. Even if you're even if you don't feel like you can, just go ahead and do.
Right.
Even if I don't know, who knows? That's what they call a beichsvar. It's a stomach theory. In Yiddish doesn't translate well, but anyway. And Hashem actually told Moshe, because Amlo says something like you said, like, how do we know that Yisro wasn't doing it just because, like you said, right? When Mashiach comes, people won't be able to convert anymore, and when things are good for the Jewish people, people, it makes sense that the motive is not pure. It's just because, hey, I want to be part of the cool kids. I want to hang with the cool kids. So Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem actually told Moshe, no, he means it l'shem shamayim. So Hashem revealed Yisro's inner motivation, and so Moshe was actually able to accept him as a ger, as a convert to the Jewish nation.
So he was the first official ger.
After Matan Torah, yeah. There are different opinions as to when Yisro got there. Some people say he got there before Matan Torah, which would mean that he accepted the Torah with everybody else. Which would mean that he actually became a ger with all the other Jews, that he accepted the Torah and became a Jew with everybody else. But if he came afterwards, he was the first convert after all the Yidden.
Right. I didn't think about it. Yeah. That was right before the
Yeah. Now, we're going to go a little bit ahead. Oh, actually, we're going to go to the pasuk of the name Eliezer. Right? It says in the pasuk that Moshe says, why did he name his son Eliezer? Elekei avi be'ezri. That the God of my father was there for my help. He saved me. And he saved me from the sword of Parai. So we know the story. We're just going to talk about what happened with Moshe Rabbeinu, and there's something really interesting at the end, which I never heard before, and which also it's not for sure. It's like a maybe. It's a suggestion that maybe this is what it means, because there's something we'll see right now that doesn't fully. It's not fully self-explanatory. It needs explanation. So one of how was Moshe saved? There's a few opinions on how Moshe was saved. One was that his neck became hard like marble, because Paro wanted to, when Dasan and Aviram snitched on him to Paro, because he saved a Jew's life, one of Dasan and Aviram's lives. He saved them, and he killed in order to save them, he killed the Mitzri, and then they themselves went and tattletaled on on
they
Moshe.
told on him.
So they grabbed him and they tried to kill him. So one of the ways he was saved, one of the answers of how he was saved was that his neck turned hard like marble, and so the sword couldn't kill him. And it actually says that in I don't know if it's Pirkei Rebbe Eliezer, one of the Midrashim, it says, or maybe it's Yerushalmi, I don't know, that it actually, instead of hitting Moshe, it hit the executioner. That it actually killed the executioner. There's another opinion that says that a malach came down that looked like Moshe Rabbeinu, and so they grabbed the malach, and Moshe was able to run away. And then Rebbe Eliezer says that actually all the people who were in charge of getting him who were there, or all the ministers, whatever, or the servants, they either became deaf, mute, or blind. And so people were asking them where they are, and they either couldn't hear, or couldn't answer, or couldn't see. So it was all confusion, and Moshe was able to get away. Now, the what's the sefer? The sefer Amoris Taharis Chitzenius Upnimius. That's what it's called. Rabbi Yehuda Chassid wrote this book. He wrote many books, many Sfarim. And he says that there's something incredible that says that if a person takes a dead snake, so I guess like skin of a snake, whatever it is, and wraps it around him, he won't be harmed by a sword. And this is like a miracle that Hashem did in order for it to be a remembrance for this miracle that happened to Moshe. So apparently, this doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Because what's the connection between a snake of a skin, skin of a snake, and the miracle that happened to Moshe?
Right.
So, and I was looking, and I saw it in this sefer, Itzer Plus Torah, and then I tried to look online and actually came across a PDF that seems to come from a yeshiva in Israel, and I think they said they don't even have enough. I think they're like putting them out like in pamphlets. They don't have enough for everyone to get, so they're only putting them in like shuls and like certain synagogues and certain like batei midrash or bet knesset, batei knesset, and it says like whatever. It's very interesting. Like it looks like it's not even, you can't even really find it, but there's a PDF online, and it explains that apparently you could say that one of the miracles that happened was that the sword turned into a snake, and instead of biting Moshe, it bit the executioner. And that's something I never heard before. Like I heard something about all the other.
I heard something like that when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
that was so vague. That was so old. I can't believe you brought back that memory.
Oh wow. Okay, so you heard something like that.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, so this is again, and it was brought down as like a derech efshar, like meaning the only way that the author of the book, I forgot where he brought it down from. I think he brought it down from another sefer. That basically, what makes sense to say here is that the sword turned into a snake. Otherwise, what's Rabbi Yehuda Chassid saying that there's a connection between wearing a skin snake and this miracle? So anyway, I wouldn't try it though. I wouldn't go home. I don't know, go home and put get a Versace belt or made out of snake skin and like, let's see. Don't do that. We take no responsibility.
Do they still make what's his name belt out of
snake skin? I don't know. I don't know if PETA got to them yet. But yeah, so yeah. Now here is a really interesting. Wow, I think I had less material than I thought. Okay, no, we're going to say something from the Rebbe, like this. In Pasuk, let me remember what Pasuk this is. It's in the fourth Aliyah, in the third Pasuk of the fourth Aliyah. So Revi, right, in the third Pasuk. It says like this: Koi Soymar lebeis Yaakov v'tagad b'nei Yisrael. This is what you should say, and this is what when Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to give over the Torah to the Jewish people. This is what you should say to Beis Yaakov, and this is what you should tell Bnei Yisrael. And Rashi explains that Beis Yaakov, and that's why the girls' school is called Beis Yaakov.
Right.
Because Beit Yaakov refers to the women, to the Jewish women. The house of Yaakov refers to the Jewish women. Now you understand why the schools are called Beis Yaakov. Right? It should be Beis Leah or something, But
well, technically, the house of anybody is a house of a woman. At the end of the day, the house.
The mother is the Akaris.
Right.
Yeah, the mother is the one who holds down the home. Yes, we're going to talk about that. And the Bnei Yisrael are the men. So, and Rashi says that this means that when you talk to the women, it says Soymar, say, right? It's not as specific and precise as tell. Tomar is say, Tagid is tell. So you should say to the women, what does that mean? You should say to them softly, and you should say to them the general things. To the men, you have to be precise. You have to give them the details. So the Rebbe explains this a little bit further, and explains that the reason why women don't need, we know that women are not, they don't have to do the mitzvot that are connected to time. That's why they're not obligated to pray or to say Shema on time or to do a lot of mitzvot, as long as it's not an avera. If it's a prohibition to do it like Shabbat, it's or Yom Tov or not eating chametz, it's also a mitzvah that has to do with time, but it's a prohibition. So therefore they have to keep it. But if it's a mitzvah, something you're supposed to do, then they're not obligated. And here also we see that they weren't given the specific things; they were just given the general. And you speak to them softer. It's very different. Why is it why is it like that? So the reason is because by women in general, the idea of emunah, belief, and yiras Hashem, and fear of God is more revealed. It shines by them more, just the way it is, the way that Hashem put it in us. The intellect doesn't get as much in the way of it. Hashem gave us, every single Jew has like an Ava Mesuteres, like a hidden love. The Alter Rebbe talks about it in Tanya, where we have a natural love for God that cannot be moved. And that's why a Jew, even if a Jew who didn't keep a thing of Judaism even at all in his life for years, if he's told though, give up your Judaism, convert to Christianity or whatever it is, or give up your Judaism, he'd rather die. Even though what does Judaism mean to you? You didn't step into a synagogue. You've been eating pork all your life, whatever it is. Still, because there's a hidden love. Now, so he's saying is that this belief, this spark, is much more revealed, and the women are much more in touch with it than the men are. And so therefore, the woman needs, general, and we need the details. We need all the details, go to shul every day, you always have to reconnect. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the Rebbe I love this, the Rebbe explains, he draws a parallel where that's why a mother, the Judaism comes from where? From the mother. The overall holiness of a Jew, and how that's passed down, that's through the mother. Right? Because she's the one who has that shining emunah, shining belief. But who passes on the specifics, whether someone's eligible to be a Kohen or a Levi or a Yisrael, or for example, the lineage of David HaMelech, right? The lineage of who could be a king, for example, who could be Mashiach, whatever it is. That is through the father, because that's more specific.
Right.
And therefore, because that's the case, the women got the general, and the men got the specifics, and there's a direct parallel between that. It was just a very, very, very interesting. I only read it. The kits are very, very summarized, so I don't have the full richness. I don't know if that's a word of the sikha, but I just thought it was really beautiful. And now that we're already talking about...
By the way, everybody, he decided to talk about this because he knew his wife is listening. This was supposed to be my part, but he decided to take it to himself.
What was that? You had something on this?
Yeah, you already did. You already said it. No, you already said it.
What did I say? What, Zeresh Rishon said it?
Yeah.
So say it
was the same thing. Just like you said, that the women are more emotional than men, and we're more logical, and we're more about facts, and they're more about, but it feels this way, or
right. The comeback to facts don't care about your feelings is my feelings don't care about your facts.
Yeah.
I want to go, okay, so this is where I actually wasn't even able to write this down. Today was quite the rush, but we're going to continue in this idea of Beis Yaakov Elu Hanashim, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about this specialty of the Jewish woman. And yes, I'm saying this to compliment my wife. And all the Jewish women out there who
well, the reality is they get a lot of bigger mitzvah than we do.
Right.
Because they are the ones who give us the opportunity to do all those mitzvahs. Otherwise, we'd be too busy with kids and home and cooking and cleaning and everything else that comes along with it. So they give us the opportunity to be able to do all the mitzvahs. So they are partners, whether we like it or not.
Yes, the Jewish woman is the continuity of the Jewish people. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is. Now. So I want to and we brought this down before, but it's such an out there fact. Mm-hmm. It says that Leah, who was one of the first Jewish women, the mother of
nations,
the mother of 6 of the Shvatim.
Mm-hmm.
So it says in the Sefer Moshe Zakenim that Leah actually had a what's the word? A plaque. She had like a made out of gold, and on it was engraved the pasuk of Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe and Rosh Hakelas Yaakov, which is like, first of all, it's crazy because the Torah wasn't even given that even then. So that means that it wasn't even given in Har Sinai, but she had that pasuk written down on this gold thing, and she always had it with her, and she would read it all the time. And that's one of the explanations for why Einei Leah Rakis, why were her eyes tender, because the shining, she always had this shining gold thing that reflected the light onto her eyes, into her eyes. And he brings down over here an idea, the Itzer Place Atera, that he brings down that there's actually it's possible that there's something hidden over here. That a Jew needs to know that the reason why we do all the mitzvahs is because God gave it to us at Har Sinai.
Right.
Even though there are mitzvahs that were done before. We don't do the mitzvah of bris milah because Avraham was commanded, even though of course that's the origin,
right.
and that's we take pride in that. But we don't do it because because of that command. We do it because Hashem commanded us at Har Sinai. Because that's our connection with God. That's the real, right? The mitzvah only comes, be able to do a commandment only came after Har Sinai.
As a matter of fact, since we're on the subject,
Yeah.
the sacrifices that were made and the meat that was eaten. So even if you live in a household of a Kohen,
right,
and you are not circumcised, you're not allowed to eat from that meat. So in other words, you had to be circumcised in order for you to eat from the meat, from the sacrifices.
Right. Yeah.
So my question was, when we were on that subject, to my rabbi, what about Yosef HaTzadik and Moshe Rabbeinu? They were never circumcised. They were born circumcised. Correct?
Oh, okay. Who was that? Who was born circumcised?
Yosef.
Yeah. Okay. Yosef. Right.
And Moshe Rabbeinu.
Right. Yeah.
So they were, and I'm not sure if David HaMelech, but I think he was too. I'm not sure. But I know Yosef and Yosef HaTzadik and Moshe Rabbeinu were both born circumcised already.
Mm-hmm.
So my question was, they were never circumcised. Can they eat from the sacrifices? Or somebody in our generation who was born with already a circumcision? A valid question?
Say that again.
Somebody who was born with a circumcision already. It's an anomaly that comes once in a billion or so, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
In our days, would they be able to eat from sacrificed animals, the meat of sacrificed animals?
I mean, it's not really a relevant question, because you're saying when Mashiach comes.
I'm thinking in general. A person like Moshe.
Probably. I mean, but again, even a person like that nowadays would need to have. You have to let out some blood.
Right. So that was the answer. The answer was that they still do let out some blood.
Right.
There has to be an act that there's a covenant between you and Hashem. Right.
Yeah.
There has to be that act. That's why we always have to act. We always have to do. Whether we understand or not, we have to do.
Right. Well, and the reason for that is because the whole idea of the mitzvah is tzavsa v'chibur. Actually, last year we spoke about what a mitzvah means. Go watch that again. Go watch that, guys. But after the show, because it's a tzavsa v'chibur, it's a connection, and the more I bring it into this world, and action is the lowest I can bring something. Right. Thoughts and speech is still more spiritual. The lower I can bring it, the more I'm revealing God in this world, and I'm bringing God into deeply into this world. Mm-hmm. So, for example, also, going back to this idea that we don't not eat Ever Menachai or the Gid Hanashe, Ever Menachai, because Hashem told the Bnei Noach not to do it, right? The Bnei Noach are also not allowed to eat from an animal before it's killed. Right, you have to wait until it's slaughtered they kill it. Right, we do it because Hashem at Har Sinai told us, because Moshe told us. Right, the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu gave over to us from Hashem, and so perhaps this is what Leah was, what was so important to Leah and what the message behind this was, is saying that it's Moshe Rabbeinu's Torah. Even though Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, we know they kept the whole Torah whenever they were able to. But it's not the same. Our commandment is because Hashem gave it to us at Har Sinai. And that's the real, and that's because, right, what does it say? Gadol ha-mitzvah v'eiseh mishe'ein mitzvah v'eiseh. That it's greater for someone who is commanded and does the commandment than the one who's not commanded and does it.
So a perfect example to what you're talking about is there are people that keep kosher because they say, oh, it's so healthy.
Right.
The real answer is you keep kosher not because it's so healthy, because Torah said so.
Right, and you recognize that everything that Hashem gave to you also is the best for you physically as well. Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%. But what's the reason you do it? You don't do it because, I'm again, right? I'm the cool kid, right? I eat healthy, I have the kosher dietary laws.
We have to have the faith that everything He has given us is good, and we need to do it in the way it was given to us. Yeah. Whether we understand it, eventually we'll understand every detail on why or how or what, how everything works. But until then, we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, and it's beautiful to see when the commandments, when you see a mitzvah, how it actually is. The entire nature falls in so perfectly in line, and everything lines up with the Torah, right? And that's why you have, I think his name is it Zamir Cohen?
Right.
The one who writes the books, The Revolution, we mentioned it last time.
He mentioned in his book the same exact thing. One of the examples are, to this day, medicine, most people didn't understand why we have a circumcision on the 8th day. Why not 10th? Why not 2 weeks? Why not 3 months?
Right.
I think we already spoke about it. We recorded it before. And they said that science nowadays proves that vitamin K kicks in, meaning your own immune system kicks in. Before that, everything you were taking from your mother, from the milk, so her immune system was protecting you. On the 8th day is your immune system kicks in. The clotting factor, vitamin K, that's when it starts in your body. So when it starts in your body, that's the only time it's at 110%. The only day, one day.
We don't need the vitamin K shots,
So after that, it goes to 100%. That's the maximum it could produce. Yeah. But that one day, it's at 110%, meaning that's the most you'll ever have at any other time in your life.
That's crazy.
The clotting factor.
That's crazy.
But we know this now. Over 3,000 years ago, we knew this.
Wow.
We didn't have the technology to understand this.
Thank you for sharing.
So we come back to the same thing. We were doing. Thank God now we came to a point where technology could show us all these little details. And now we say, oh, wow, God really gave this to us for our own good. And He said 8th day, not any other day.
Yeah, shout out to the band, 8th Day.
There's a band like that?
Yeah, it's a Jewish band.
Seriously?
Dude.
I didn't know.
Shameless, I did not get paid for this. But now
right, wink.
Now that we mentioned this, 8th Day actually is they've been out for years, probably since I've been I would say now close to 20 years already. But
all of a sudden they look up on what's his name, Apple Store, and everybody's buying up their music tomorrow morning, and they start contacting you. Hey Yossi, what'd you do, man?
That's hilarious.
You're like, I want 10%.
That's hilarious. No, but they actually have a single, very recent, 459. An awesome song. If you haven't listened to it, it's rocking.
So is their whole album, all the titles are in numbers?
No. 8th Day has
Do they have any other titles besides numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
You should go check them out.
Okay. What is 849?
And don't talk trash.
Okay. The chances are I'm not going to check him out. Okay, but yeah.
I'll play it for him after the show, guys. We'll make him into an 8th Day fan.
Do I have to listen to Okay, I'm just joking.
Okay, so but going back to this, we know that, so we said this, right? That we do the mitzvahs because it was given to us by Hashem through Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, now, just going a little bit into this idea of the woman's role in Judaism. Right, Rabbeinu Bachya explains that Beis Yaakov Elu Hanashim, that Beis Yaakov meaning the women, and that Hashem said that first to speak to the women and to speak to their hearts. Why is it so important that the woman should be on board? It's because the woman is the one who Torah and mitzvahs is so dependent on the mother. Why? Because she's always found in the home. She's always at home. I mean, nowadays things are a little bit different, but still the mother is the pillar of the house. Right? The mother is the homemaker. And no dad can do it like the mom can. It's just an inherent ability that a mother has. And she has a certain love towards her child, and the child feels that special love. And there's a different bond between a father and a son than there's between a mother and a child. And so she's able to have an effect on the child, and if she can give over the love she has for Torah to the child, then it'll stay with him, it'll be instilled in him, and he'll go with him until the end, until he gets old, through his entire, all his days. Mm-hmm. And the Rabbeinu Bachya says, and this is the title the title of this video. I keep on forgetting to send you the link, so you can also send it up. But the title of the video is "Why Jewish Women Pray When They Light Candles," and this is the reason why they do it when they light the candles for Shabbos is because davening is more accepted when you're doing a mitzvah. And in the merit of the lights of Shabbos, which is light, the son will become a Baal Torah. He will go follow in the footsteps of Torah and mitzvahs, which is light. Torah is called light, Torah The Ner mitzvah, right? And the mitzvah is the candle, or is the flame. And this is actually about that in Halacha, in the Magen Avraham. So, and this is why we see also, and I wanted to bring this up because it just happened in the war. There was a mother in the war right now that Israel is, and it should end swiftly, and we should have a swift victory.
Amen.
And round up all the terrorists and have them
crush all the cockroaches.
Exactly. Say that again to the camera.
Oh, I did.
No, you didn't see it. No, I love the intensity, but and we're getting so off topic. But the mother, there was doing, a lot of women were doing Hafrashas Challah. Mm-hmm. And the merit of the mitzvah was Hafrashas Challah, which is another mitzvah that was given over to the women. Both lighting candles and taking challah, taking a part of the bread away for challah, putting it aside for challah, is a mitzvah that is incumbent also on men. We have that obligation, but it was given over to women, and now it's a special mitzvah that's connected to the women. And so, what happened was that there was a mother of a kidnapped, of a hostage, who did the mitzvah, and she was crying. She was distraught, and you saw her talking about emunah and women. She had the emunah on her face. She was so. She was. I don't know what this. She was. There was, her neshama was shining. You could see it. It was incredible. And she did the bracha, and she did the Hafrashas Challah, and her son was one of the first hostages that was released.
Wow.
So prayer in the time of a mitzvah, I have to. Oh, what did I do? My mistake. I put the camera up. Okay. Prayer in the time of a mitzvah gives power to the mitzvah. And why by the mitzvah of Shabbos candles specifically? Because we're supposed to daven for that our children should go in the light of Torah. There's more than one song with those words, and the famous one was Zakeni Legado. I don't know if you heard it. You sure you heard it?
I think so.
Yeah, and
they also say that the fires of Gehinnom turn off on Shabbos.
On Shabbos,
when women turn on the candles.
Oh, the fire of Shabbos turns off
right.
the fire. Wow. Very interesting. But so the reason why, right, we said the reason why the fire, why we do it by the lighting of the candles is because Torah is Or. And he brings down a story here that I absolutely love. I didn't even have a chance to look up because I can't tell from here how to pronounce the last name. But Rabbi Shmuel Kaidanover, I believe it is.
Okay.
The very holy man. I think he actually learned at the same time as the Sifsei Kohen, who was known as the Shach, and he wrote, he's one of the people we mentioned that he lived so young. How was he able to write so many Sfarim? One of the explanations is possible that he actually knew the secrets of how to be able to, through holiness, through Kedusha, have the pen right on its own. He would be able to speak. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
We mentioned that a different time.
we mentioned that vaguely last year, I think.
It was not too long ago, actually. But anyway, just explain who he held company with. And his mother didn't know how to daven. She was pretty
Illiterate?
She was ignorant of the words of prayer, which I mean was not so uncommon,
At that time, right?
Yeah. But she would pray in Russian, and she would light the candles. And she would say, "It should be Hashem's will that my son Shmuel should become a Talmid Chacham." And it happened, right? That's what happened. He became one of the great Gedolei HaTorah who lit up the eyes of the Jewish people. So that's just know the power. Everyone should know the power of the mitzvahs you do and the prayer that the davening that you guys do, and especially women. You have a special connection to Hashem that's exclusive to you, and don't ever underestimate it.
I was actually going to share something I learned this week.
Yeah.
This is nothing to do with religion. This is science.
Mm-hmm.
These great scientists came together and they were talking about time travel. The conclusion they came to was it's impossible to time travel backwards, going back in time, because even if you are traveling that fast, when you do get there, because voice travels at a different pace, if you do get there, all you'll see is things happening, but there will be no voice. So you will be completely, you won't be heard, you can't hear anything that's going on. You're just at a different time period. So, which makes no sense.
This is like sci-fi, how did we get to this?
So basically speaking, traveling back in time is impossible. Traveling forward in time is a possibility if you are moving fast enough. And that made me think. About, you remember we were talking about how Hashem shows Avraham Avinu future, and he shows him Beit HaMikdash and ruins, and then he says, where are my children, this and that. You remember we were talking about that? The question that arose for me was, Hashem doesn't have time. He's out of time. He could travel past, present, future.
He created time.
Right. He created the physical, he created the spiritual, he created everything.
Right.
So therefore, he's out of time. So therefore, any soul, which when it becomes a soul, when it departs from the physical, it becomes out of time because it's not attached to the physical anymore. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's out of time. So the question is, they exist in the matter. They exist somewhere. You know what I mean? We can't comprehend what it is, but they exist. So for them to travel forward or back is not an issue. It could be done with a thought. So once it was already done, Hashem showed him the ruins, showed him the future, this and that. Where do they go from there? They return to the time? What time? There's no time. You understand what I'm saying? Where does it go? Where does it return? You understand what I'm talking about?
You're saying that Hashem showed them the future. That's not the same thing as time travel.
But what do you mean showed him the future? What future? For him, it's present, past, future.
For him,
it's all the same.
For him, but the person who's bound by time, for him, it is the future. I mean, it's.
The reason why he did that to him in the first place was because he didn't have enough faith. You remember we spoke about it.
Yeah.
So he says, "Oh, how will I know?" So he says, "Oh yeah, I'll show you." And then he shows him the whole thing. But what I'm saying is, once he shows them to him, does that mean they've returned back to the time period and where they were before? But then we can't say that because they're out of time. You understand what I mean?
I don't. First of all, no, I don't. I mean, this is you're discussing hypothetical. It's theory because I mean, even if it were possible, if the speed of light and this and that, which whatever. I mean, I think it's arrogant for people.
I know what you're saying. You're saying you're trying to apply hypothetical to something that is a fact or physical.
Not just that,
which is why it doesn't make sense.
Hashem didn't like. It doesn't matter how Hashem did it. Hashem showed Moshe the future.
However, I'm not trying to figure out how he did it.
No, what I'm saying is to apply the ideas of time travel, even if any of them have any bearing on real life, and compare that. I don't think it's relevant or it applies. You know what I mean?
Okay, I guess.
Just my 2 cents, but yeah.
Because the reason why I even started thinking about it is because Hashem's name that we are not allowed to pronounce. But what does it mean? It means past, present, future. It's representing
God above it's godliness or God above the
physical world,
above the laws of nature. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying. Okay, so you're saying it's with that you can. I mean, listen, there are ideas of kfitzas haderech where people got somewhere faster than they should have. But that's, again, to go ahead and draw a parallel between science and, quantum physics or whatever it is you want to, and that is talking about different stuff. We're talking about entirely different things. I just want to go to the comments. Okay, so Baruch Hashem, we found out now that everyone could hear us. And I'm just looking at the comments.
Okay.
Moyach shebekeres, I don't know what that means. And then here, are they rewarding the snake? Let me just put it up here. Are they rewarding the snake? How is that reward? So we're talking about when we spoke about earlier, where you could put the snake around. If you put cover yourself in the snake's skin, a dead snake's skin, and you'll be protected. Really, no. It's not a reward. It's more of a zecher asal in fla'isav. That's what the Rabbi Yehuda Chassid is saying over there. That it's like it's a commemoration of the miracle. Is this phenomena, but I don't think it was mentioned that it was a reward to
right. It's not that serious because it was also just an opinion that might have happened.
Yeah, it's a suggestion of how to explain how that makes sense. But it would be pretty cool, Imagine,
right.
1 second the guy's holding a sword, and the next second he's holding a snake.
It's like that thing with the salamander. Remember we were talking about?
We spoke about that a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Something with fires or being immune to fire. Being burnt or something like that.
The Gemara talks about it,
right.
And people chalk it up to.
Don't go trying to lock yourself in a room and set it on fire and see if the salamander will save you. I mean,
the Gemara most people chalk it up to a myth because when they used to light fires, salamanders or lizards, whatever it was, would come out of their hiding spots. So people would say, "Oh, this is fire creates this," and there's actually a type of salamander called like a fire salamander, something like that. But the thing is, the Gemara mentions that it's like only after a fire burning for 7 years straight. So this is something which is not even.
It's some weird Kabbalah stuff that I'm not trying to comprehend. It's well beyond my pay grade.
Sorry, I was just looking at the
other comments.
At the comments. No, I was explaining. He translated what I said in Hebrew and Yiddish. I said a baich svara, like a stomach theory. So he translated it into Hebrew, which also sounds ridiculous. But
okay.
Whatever. Okay, Mandy, thank you for being here and for adding to the live. Thank you, everybody who is here.
Thank you,
If you made it to the end, you're a legend. And go ahead and
Smash the like button.
First of all, do smash the like buttons. We actually, I want to say hi to all the newcomers and hi to all the OG, OG subscribers. My wife went and literally like just
Forced all her friends to subscribe.
yeah, like over 100 subscribers more.
You see what I mean? Overnight, baby.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I hope that the people who added are finding value and are enjoying the channel. I want to encourage everybody here to go and open a book yourself and learn, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much. It's endless. Torah is endless. This is the beauty of Torah. There's no end to it. And
I wanted to add something I learned this week. I know I'm going to sound like an imbecile.
No, you don't sound like an imbecile.
It's important every day to learn halachot. I know it's very boring. Well, at least to me, it's very boring because they're just straightforward, like just so, because there's no juicy stories that come with them. So that's why it's a little boring.
There's nothing like the juicy stories.
But this is the halacha that I should have known as a kid. As a Baal Tshuva, of course, I learned all these things much later. But apparently, my whole life I've been doing this, and I've been doing this wrong.
Okay.
When you drink water, you're not supposed to say shakol, because it's tasteless. You're only supposed to say shakol if you're thirsty and you want to drink water. Otherwise, on regular water, you're not supposed to say shakol. It has no taste. Did you know that?
No, one second.
Wait. Okay. Let's go. Let's get into this. I love this because I learned this recently. I was arguing just like you. I was like, no way. What are you talking about?
The only time that even applies is if you're drinking water not to quench your thirst, which means if you're taking medicine and you need water to swallow down the medicine, you don't make a bracha on that water.
But if you're drinking that medicine, are you not going to say a shakol on the medicine that you're ingesting?
No, you don't make a shakol on medicine.
So you just take it like that?
Yeah, I mean, unless it has a good taste, so those vitamins.
So you're telling me you never sipped water when you weren't so thirsty? Or you go to the gym, you keep sipping water. You're not thirsty where you're dying out of thirst, but you're drinking water.
You don't have to be dying of thirst to be again. We're making brachas because you're benefiting from something.
Okay.
So when the water is not there at all for your own gain, except for
Is your brother commenting right now?
No.
I think he'll be siding with me right now.
No, I believe that again. What you're saying is true, but only if you're. Why does anyone drink water? Why do you drink water?
What do you mean? People just drink water because they want to keep hydrated. But doesn't mean that they're completely dehydrated when you are drinking.
So only if you're about to die of hunger.
No. Hold on. Don't become all extreme on me.
I'm explaining to you that it's not if you're dying of thirst. If you're benefiting from the water itself, for the water, then you make a bracha. If you're drinking water,
Just for drinking water.
But what does it mean just for drinking water? I've never heard such a thing. The only time you're drinking water without the intention of for the water is when you're taking medicine.
Not really. I mean,
if you're drinking, if you're instinctively reaching for a water bottle or for your cup of water for a drink, it's because you're thirsty. Even if you're not very thirsty.
No, you don't have to be thirsty. So a lot of these things are mental. Like, a lot of times, if I don't have a bottle in front of me, I could go a whole day without drinking water because I don't have an urge for it. But if it's there, I'm gonna take a sip every hour or so because it's there right in front of me. I'm not thirsty. I'm not particularly thirsty. I'm not gonna go look for it, which is why I could go on a whole day without even thinking about it. But if it's right there under my nose, or every hour or so, I'm gonna make sure I take a sip to keep myself hydrated.
I think, listen, I don't know. First of all, there could be that there's different opinions when it comes to halacha, but I don't think it's a question of if you're super thirsty or I think it has to do with if the water is if you're drinking the water because you want to hydrate or if not. I think that's what it has to do. In general, when you're drinking water, it's to hydrate. Let's say if you're ingesting a liquid that's, let's say for example, it's medicine and it's nasty and it doesn't taste good, yeah, you don't make a bracha on that. And like you say, to swallow again, maybe to swallow medicine, but it could be that you're coming from a different source in halacha. I don't know. Maybe ask him to explain what that actually means.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, I want to just say from now on, because there's there's always like a title to the video, and sometimes the topic that's mentioned as a thumbnail and as the title is not there. So I'm going to try to, after the show, I can't do it during the show, but after the show, to put the time of when that topic is being spoken about under the video in the description, so that way if you want, you can go ahead and skip to that if you're really hungry for that information. Also, we'll be putting out more short videos where we take different segments and different short topics from the show and as independent videos. But yeah, thank you for being here, guys. It's Monday, but we still want to wish you a great week and a great Shabbos.
Yeah, Shabbat.
And
everybody's anxious to see the somersault.
oh, the somersault, but we didn't get. Did we get 20 likes? Should I check? Should I check if we got 20 likes?
You know what? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
We'll give it better. Oh man.
What? Somebody commented?
No, let's see. We are at 6 likes. You know what? I'm happy with that. I'm happy with 6 likes. Soon 6 likes is not going to be enough, but what just happened? Two of the cameras went out.
Are you serious? Why?
I think...
batteries died?
Yeah, we've been going for an hour. Okay, let's do this. So,
oh, shoot.
It's fine.
If you went out, what are you doing a somersault for? Nobody's there to witness it.
We're going to do it right now. Watch. We're going to do it right here. Okay. Here we go.
By the way, this is a no judgment zone, so go for it.
You'd think after all these years I would learn how to do a proper one.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
The camera got it, right?
More or less.
Okay, guys. Well, let's wrap up.
By the way, guys, Yossi makes a mean meatballs. What's his name? And rice.
Yes. That's
What happened? That went off too?
No, it didn't go off. Okay, guys. We're in the corner over here, and we're gonna finish off because all the cameras went out. But this is.
Thank you for joining us.
We have to look at the camera over there.
Oh.
Thank you for joining, guys.
Smash that like button. Thank you for joining
being
us,
here.
and don't forget to support Yossi on Patreon.
Oh, thank you.
And, that's what I'm talking about.
And thank you for being here. Until next time.
That's right. Till next time. To be continued.